Hello, this is Father Michael Nasser coming to you from St. Nicholas Orthodox Church here in Grand Rapids, Michigan for this week's Midweek Reflection. And this week I'm reflecting on something I learned in the last week that I found very, very valuable, and so I'm going to share it with all of you today. And that is the importance of staying curious, the importance of seeing how much we have to learn around us, and the most important thing to learn. So, as many of you know, I got COVID again last week. It was the second time. It was a year before, one day apart, that I got COVID the last time. So, interesting how the timing right before Thanksgiving again. And, you're scrambling at the last minute trying to get all the services covered and, a baptism. And, realizing I'm not going to be going through a normal Thanksgiving with my family as I would have otherwise. And then I had this weird bout with amnesia where they say it's unrelated to COVID. Who really knows? But for 2 hours, I acted normally apparently, but later on, after the fact, I didn't remember it. And as I came out of that, once I got through sort of the few minutes of confusion of what's going on, do I have COVID? Did we have Thanksgiving yesterday? Once that cleared up, took about 5 or 10 minutes, I realized that I had lost a couple hours. I didn't know exactly at that point how many hours. And then it was like, well, got to go to the hospital, get everything checked out. And I spent a day in the hospital getting everything checked out, and thank God everything's fine. However, what got me through all of that, or at least one of the things that was very helpful to me that got me through all of that, because it really wasn't a bad experience. I mean, people said, are you okay? And really, I've been fine. I had a very mild case of COVID. Why was it easier for me? One of the things that made it very easy is that I stayed curious. I stayed open. There were a lot of things that I was open to learning about, like, hey, what is this amnesia thing? That's kind of curious. What did I do while I was not remembering what I was doing? And then going to the hospital. I have not been hospitalized since I got my tonsils out. I think I was 4 or 5 years old. And so I was going to be, well, what's it like to be in the hospital? I visit people in the hospital all the time, but I'm the one visiting. I come in and I leave and don't really know what it's like to stay in the hospital. All kinds of things. So I was just open and curious about learning that. I thought, you know what, I'm just going to ride this through and see what I can learn and what I can experience that I haven't experienced before. And that helped create some positivity. But the most important thing that I gained through it all, or that helped me get through it all, was I was open and curious about what was God doing. If God was letting me get COVID again on the day or two before Thanksgiving again, and then God let this weird thing happen where, I sort of lose a couple hours of my life that I can't look back and remember, and I got to go to the hospital and go through all these weird tests, and some of them are not so fun. What helped me get through it was just being curious. What is God going to do to me, with me, around me, while all these things are going on? It really helped me reframe what was happening and what I needed to worry about and not worry about. Because I was able to stay, for the most part, just curious. What's God doing? What's going on? What's this going to be like? Why is he allowing these things to happen? And what does that mean for me? What can I learn from it? That really changed my perspective. And it made it really not a bad week. I mean, thank God I was actually feeling pretty good through the whole thing. Like I said, very mild case of COVID. But being curious, I think, is so important for all of us. If we can just, through all the ups in life and the downs in life, stay curious and say, I wonder what God is going to do. Because what's he going to do? The answer is he's going to bless us. If we're open to what God is doing, no matter what's going on in and around us, if we allow him to, we're going to see, he's going to do what he's going to do. He's going to bless us. And if we allow him, we're going to see it. If we're open to it, if we're curious about how is God going to bless me through this thing, this situation, this relationship, this difficulty, whatever it happens to be, it really reframes the whole thing, number one, by including God in the picture. And how often we face things, especially difficult things in life, and sometimes our first reaction is to panic as if God isn't there and as if he's not going to bless us through whatever thing we're going through. So staying open to the fact that he's there. And then secondly, to be curious about how he's going to bless us through that, how he's going to help, how he's going to show his mercy, how he's going to show his love through all kinds of people. I can't tell you how many doctors and nurses came through, asked me what my name was, what was my birthday, who was the president of the United States, all these questions over and over and over. Touch my nose, touch their finger. But a lot of wonderful people. I really can't say I met a bad, rude, difficult person through the whole thing. Nurses, doctors, staff, everybody. So that's what I want to encourage all of us to do. Stay curious. Stay curious about life in general when things happen, but stay curious specifically about what is God going to do this, and specifically there, how is he going to bless me through this thing, even if it is a difficult thing or a challenging thing. I think we're going to find out is no matter how hard it gets, we see the blessings that are always there. They're always there. They sometimes are harder to see if we're not looking for them in difficult times. But when we're looking for them, when we stay curious, then we see the things that God is doing. We see the way he's blessing us no matter what's going on. So I was curious, and I learned a lot about how God is blessing me all the time, even through potentially challenging things. And I hope that you'll find the same thing if you also stay curious. So I hope you found that helpful. If you did, please share it with your friends via social media, text, phone call, whatever. And God willing, we'll see you in next week's video.